Before starting the video, you have a small request to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch such wonderful videos in the future.
Before experiencing the example of overcoming adversity of perhaps the most splendid brain of his age, just as somebody we despite everything admire today, Albert Einstein, I might want to address something which I feel individuals will in general underestimate today, and that is the intensity of will. We have the will to do anything we desire today. We know there is a God up there and he doesn't interfere into our issues. He has enabled everybody to turn into anything they desire to be. God told Abraham in the book of scriptures, to the extent your eyes can see, which implies a certain something, your conditions are not the issue, you are your concern. Taking a gander at this theme, I recall the thing Jim Bob Arnold said around 22 years ago, which was one of the most inspiring things for me. He said, "Don't surrender. Absolutely never surrender. You have a duty to yourself to become what you need to be." Part 1. Discussing Einstein, the principal thing that would strike a chord is that he was a virtuoso, yet this was not generally the situation. As a child, Einstein didn't talk till he was 4, and it was so bad to the point that he was unable to peruse till he was 7, which caused everybody including his folks and instructors to think he was against social, slow and even impaired. In the light of this issue, he was inevitably ousted from school, and denied entrance into the Zurich Polytechnic School. Despite the fact that it took him somewhat longer than others, he eventually did well at last, changing the substance of current material science and winning the Nobel Prize at last. Part 2. Taking a gander at everything, the status we're going, many would state that Einstein could never prevail at anything, much to their dismay how wrong they were. Regardless of troubles with his advanced education, Einstein didn't surrender. He composed an application to the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology where he bombed the selection test. He applied for the subsequent time and was then conceded, notwithstanding all the difficulties. As time continued, proceeding onward in school, he got his doctoral exposition dismissed by the school as it was named outlandish and immaterial, which I think returned to chase them later on as his insight got clear to the world. When he moved on from school in spite of all the chances, he began as an office representative in a patent office. The enjoyment thing about this part of his life is that he never dismissed what he needed, and he said he preferred the activity since it was one which required less mental quality and permitted him more opportunity to study and research logical hypotheses he was dealing with. He was so into his investigations and research that he frequently neglected to basic things like putting on socks before his shoes. He additionally lost the day's finance check more often than not on the grounds that he utilized it as a bookmark for his exploration. The most significant thing to call attention to from the entirety of this is, in spite of the entirety of Einstein's dismissals and difficulties from the individuals and even the instructive framework, is that he kept on battling for what he had confidence in. He kept on with his investigations, speculations and experimentation. To disclose to you the amount he worked, no one perceived his work until his hypothesis of relativity was distributed. This didn't come without its misfortunes. The same number of researchers all through the world idea him to be ridiculous, saying that his speculations were useless and futile, in any event, going the extent that colloquialism that he was frantic. Einstein proceeded to turn into a teacher at the University of Zurich and a while later, an educator of hypothetical material science at Prague. His story demonstrates to all, particularly the individuals who question themselves, that you can do whatever you like to do as long as you set your focus on it. He demonstrated to all that he had a splendid psyche as he won the Nobel Prize in Material Science in 1921. Never surrender, never question yourself, and the vast majority of all, trust you can do anything since you are just in the same class as your mental self. For this types of helpful videos, subscribe our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.